And, all that debris and material, all those homes that burned, I don't know, without bringing in 5,000 dump trucks and bulldozers, are they going to be able to get that stuff cleared out of these communities before significant rain comes?
Yeah, I hear you. Just another threat on the horizon as we deal with this massive disaster going on in our region now. I'm curious, so to your point about the brush, we heard a firefighter say that some of this area that's burning newly in the Palisades fire hasn't burned for 50 years. That's 50. So I'm wondering if you can tell us about what difference that makes, how that factors into the way this fire burns, and also what difference we're seeing from this massive aerosol. We are seeing so many water dropping helicopters out there. We are seeing so many FOSS-check fire retardant drops. What impact does that have?
Well, as far as the condition of the fuel bed goes, I'm definitely one of those individuals that believes strongly in fuel management. But that's not a very popular thing for most people, kind of like a NIMBY thing, because you have to come in at the ideal times of year and you do prescription burns. And by doing prescription burns, you begin thinning out and creating breaks along the way of old, decadent fuel, so that when a fire does come along, it'll run into these areas where you've thinned things out, or you can come in with a dozer and put 2-blade wide, trail around everything. People don't like us doing that anymore either. They don't like it coming in with a bulldozer and, doing that. They don't like us to burn because it affects the air quality, of course, and they don't want any of that. But it's a preventative measure that is highly successful. We had a very robust vegetation management program for many years, but we kind of got shut down by the AQMD and all the NIMBY folks that would rather we not do that. And so 20 years later, you haven't managed all this vegetation, and when a fire hits it, it's like napalm.
You mentioned prescription burns, and then earlier in this conversation you said the last time you remember a fire here in this area, Mandeville Canyon fire in 1978, and the brush is old, it hasn't been cleared out. Is that what you mean by prescription burns are necessary? And why is it you think we haven't been doing that? Just a lack of resources, to LA City Fire Chief's point last night when she
No. As far as the prescription burn program goes, we have the resources for that. We do that at the times of the year when any kind of a fire we ignite under controlled conditions is going to burn very slowly, kind of a cool fire. It's not going to come through and turn everything white like you see on the side of those hills.
Yeah, and then I wonder if we can circle back to the impact of the air resources on this, because we have a lot of water being dropped and a lot of fire retardant. How successful is that in really helping to put out the fire?
Well, you see, with retardant, that's not meant to put fire out. That's meant to prevent the spread of the fire, to contain the fire. So they'll paint the sides of the fire so it doesn't expand. The water is what we throw on it to actually put the flames out. Something to keep in mind, back in the day, when homes were built in the 50s and the 40s, the materials inside homes were pretty organic. Wood, wool, cotton. Everything nowadays is all synthetic. Laminates, chemicals, glues, all kinds of things are going on with a home nowadays. When you're on a brush fire in the middle of the brush, you breathe the smoke, it's not good for you, but it's not particularly toxic. So smoke coming off of these tracks, hundreds and thousands of homes that have burned, is about the worst possible air you can be breathing. Because all those plastics, all those synthetics, all those petroleum byproducts that are used now in modern construction have burned. And all of that stuff comes together in smoke, and it's highly toxic, and it's carcinogenic as well.
And how long do those toxins exist in the air? For how long? I mean, for the people who are evacuated and eventually when they get back into these areas, do you guys not let them in until the toxins are gone?
We don't measure that. That's not our function. And as far as when they let people back in, there's a number of factors. There's some politics involved there, I'm sure. But the whole idea is if there's smoke and haze in the area, you know there's particulates in the air. I know Casey talked about that, and so has Kai. But you can see the particulates in the air. You know that any of that you're breathing is going to go into your lungs and probably hang around for a while. So the advice of an N95 mask for everybody that's within 5 miles of this is probably a prudent thing to do.
Great advice. We really appreciate you being on with us. Really excellent perspective to get from you this morning. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you.